Today is June 2nd, 2019, and for this Ivy integration, we are going to reinvent the relationship pattern. The 4 paths to reinventing the relationship pattern are full responsibility, establishing 6 core traits, determination to set the new stage, and reforming the environment to create magical space to receive. Basically, we are going to take full responsibility. We're going to take off the blindfolds, okay, and we're going to get real. We're going to relinquish the avoidance, the excuses, and the denial of our intuition. All of us have an intuition, either we're a man or a woman. If we're a woman, our intuition is heightened because we are leader. Men are more followers. We set the stage as women. We direct the relationship. We direct the beginning. We direct the end. Okay? So in the patriarchal age, we know what it's like to be a follower. Okay? It's been installed in us to follow. Okay, so we know how to follow and we're pretty good at following, but the feminine, the woman, represents that leadership. It is intuition that brings uniqueness. It brings personality. It brings wisdom. It brings a niche or a talent that is distinct, impactful to one's own person. Okay, so we're going to take full responsibility for the illusions we have in our life. So, illusions very much looks like our spiritual relationship fantasy. Okay, I feel a spiritual connection to this man. This man is this man or woman is my soulmate or my twin flame, but I don't know them. Okay, and I'm a victim to my feelings for them, and I'm a victim to not knowing what they feel about me. And all illusions do, it creates a commotion, it creates a dilemma, and it creates a fantasy. And that sums up to confusion. So a lot of times we cloak our illusion with spiritualism. So illusion with spiritualism creates this dreamy confusion about a relationship. So we make excuses and we avoid things and we deny our own instincts when we are in an illusion. And overall, the relationship doesn't feel practical. To be responsible is to be practical. Okay, it's very difficult for us to be responsible when we're living in these fantasies about how someone feels and how our relationship dynamic is, but there's not a practical discussion going on. Okay, with anything, there needs to be a practical discussion or nothing gets organized. Nothing finds a direction. Nothing finds a commonality. Nothing finds a communion, a collaboration. So responsibility is a collaboration. It is a communion. It is an organization, is a navigation. Okay, where are we going to go? What is this relationship going? Confusion is more of like that feeling of limbo where you're just kind of like whirlwinding through an idea of something, but it's not really being applied into discussion. It's just kind of, you're just whirlwinding through this idea of what this relationship could be. It could be this. Okay, so we don't want to, cloak illusion with spirituality and say, well, my spiritual sense of the soulmate or the twin flame, this is going to lead into this relationship discussion or this relationship collaboration. Okay, because what can happen in that illusion is that feeling of limbo. And in that limbo, I've seen people who are decades have gone by. Because when we are in that illusionary state, time goes by really quickly and we don't even realize it. It's like limbo. It's like eternity has just went by and we didn't even realize that we just spent eternity in this sort of limbo, this same place that we've been in for eternity. We don't even realize that until we get our feet on the ground and we start to get organized and to start taking responsibility. So if we are ready and available to clear up the commotion, the dilemma, and the fantasy of the relationship. Okay, we're going to take full responsibility. We're going to get out of that victimization, and we're going to start viewing relationship through self-discovery, self-improvement, and self-revelation. Okay, and then we're gonna create a little box. Okay, we're going to create a house called the House of the Aura, and the House of the Aura is like a square rectangular, and 6 sides. So we have above, we have below, we have to the left, to the right, and then we have in front and behind. So to the right is our heart expressed to the world. To the left is our heart chamber, the intimacy of ourself. Behind is the past review, and in front is the propulsion to go forward. Above is our spiritual connection, and below is the basement. It is the child foundation. So we're going to create a little house, and we're going to place into each of these the walls of this house, okay? The walls, the ceiling, the floor, the walls of this house. We're going to put in 6 core traits that we're going to start amplifying in this house, because a house is a haven. House, just like an amphitheater, it amplifies what is in the house. It's a vessel. So whatever's in that vessel is being amplified. So whatever's in your house is being amplified, because a home is a haven. And whatever is that is going on, that energy dynamic is amplified. So we're going to put in some 6 core traits that can help us to amplify the relationship that gives us that practical, responsible home environment that brings us into collaboration, a discussion. It feels real to us. It's not some dreamy state. It's something that is a material manifestation. Okay? And we're going to get some determination. Okay? We're going to get some determination to set the new stage. So if we have a stage, so the setting of the stage comes from childhood usually. So if our parents set the stage to be relationship is this, that, the other, or that, basically we're going to reenact that in adult years. Okay? So part of setting the walls and the ceilings of our house is reinventing what home means to us, reinventing the stage. So if the stage of the childhood was dysfunctional, disharmonious, like a mess, it was very commotional, it had a lot of dilemmas, a lot of fantasies, we can demagnetize that by overriding it by magnetizing the 6 core traits. So it becomes a dominant home stage for us than the childhood dilemma or fantasy in the relationship home of our parents. Okay? And that gives us a level of determination. So part of that determination is putting into, we can say, the internal and external home, because internal and external are very much the same. So if our external is a mess, most likely something internally is a mess. We're just maybe in denial of it. Okay? We may be very disorganized inside, or we may be very confused inside if our home is just this one big confusing ball of yarn where we can't find anything. Okay, so what we want to do is externally, we want to place into our house through like the wall, to the right, to the left. You can even say on the ceiling, even on the floor, these objects that create a resonance that amplifies the 6 core traits that we're trying to establish within our relationship. Okay, so the heart chamber, the heart expressed out into the world. We can say in front of us that propulsion to take action, the past review, what is behind. Above, we can say that spiritual connection, that intellectual, and what does that look like? What is our understanding of that, and below that childhood authentic niche, and how do we integrate that as an adult here and now. Okay, we're going to work with that. Then finally, we're going to create A magical space to receive by eliminating victimization. Very important. Victimization is a great delay. Okay? So, how we do that is reform maturity in viewing relationships through responsibility. Okay? Without victimization, we're not reforming anything. We're not maturing. We're just kind of chilling in limbo of our fantasies and our illusions of this relationship is going to lead into this, but there is no discussion of that. Okay? We want to clear all that up. And we want to take ownership over the authenticity of the childhood and the belittlement of the childhood. Okay? And the acceptance of our enjoyment or the lack thereof. So overall, with this IV integration, this roadmap to reinventing the relationship, is we are going to get a self-worth boundary within our house. So we're going to create boundaries and magnetism. So relationships, it's wonderful, free love, okay, but we need boundaries. Our self-worth needs boundaries because our self-worth can get beat up, okay, and it can be belittled, and it can be destroyed, okay. So part of those self-worth boundaries through creating our little house in the aura is magnetizing what it is that brings us discussion and brings us collaboration, so that we're never just allowing confusion and allowing misunderstandings to lead us in these relationships of great illusion and just great dissatisfaction. So when we have that self-worth boundaries and we're really magnetizing that very strong, we're going to have a greater ability to deflect, which is very important, deflect relationships that are illusionary, meaning men or women who say they're not, they don't say what they do or do what they say, okay? We'll be able to deflect that because we have such strong boundaries and such strong magnetism that we're not going to really attract the relationships that we used to, such as we were, the beck and call, or we were the doormat, because during that time our boundaries were very thin, so that those things could come in. We allowed those relationships to come in, but when we take full responsibility for the self-worth boundaries and begin to magnetize the traits that really bring discussion and collaboration into our life, well, we're gonna find ourselves very direct and practical. And that's the one thing with women and men, particularly women, is direct. We need to be direct. When we're not, we waste time, and we can get into the illusion of, what are you thinking right now? What do you want? What are your intentions? We get into that kind of whirlwind. So with the practical relationship, it is more so of my self-worth boundaries and my magnetism is available and ready to capture that in a relationship. So we're not thinking about the illusions or the fantasies. We're thinking about improving our discussion, improving our collaboration with ourselves, with our evolution, because the 6 traits will continue to evolve as we evolve. Our house will evolve, and finding that suitable house. And a lot of times we have to go through even many houses to find that suitable house for us. So all of us, we aren't not just born into the house that suits us. We have to go out there. We have to have discovery. So we have many relationships, and even we'll talk about the shadow side in relationships and how that really kind of trains us to have personal power. But overall, we have relationships. We're kind of trying to find the house that suits us the best in life. And when we think of houses, none of them are bad. None of them are like, they're just houses. They're homes for us to learn and discover in periods of our life. We don't judge them. We don't shame them. We're not FU houses. No, we may do that, but it's more about pushing us to be even more direct, to have a stronger personal power if we do say FU house. But overall, everything is kind of nudging us into finding that suitable house for us. Okay. So this is 4 pathways to helping us find that suitable house where we can really feel comfy, cozy in a practical way, not an illusionary, just kind of fantasizing that this person is in alignment with me. No, we get that comfy and cozy where we can allow ourselves to just, like when we find that home, it's like, that breath of fresh air. Yes, this suits me in a very natural way. So we're gonna head to the first path, which is full responsibility.